Here are some of the creepiest things that kids have said to their babysitters. There was a girl who was watching TV with one of the kids that she babysat, and all of a sudden he shut off the TV and whipped his head around to stare at the wall behind him. He stared for a solid 3 minutes and then whispered, "Not now," and then turned back around, kept watching TV. A couple minutes later, he turned back around to look at the wall and said, "I said not now. I'll see you later, okay?" The babysitter said she was so freaked out. There's another story about this babysitter who was looking through one of her old yearbooks with a 5-year-old boy. The boy suddenly pointed to one of the photos and he said, "That looks just like Nicholas." When the babysitter asked who Nicholas was, he said, "Oh, it's the boy in my closet," and just said it so casually like it wasn't wrong. I'll make a part 2. Here are some more of the scariest things that kids have said to their babysitters. There was one little boy who used to talk about a woman who would visit his room at night. He said she wore a red dress and that her name was Franny and she would sing to him. He also made sure to tell his babysitter that this Franny girl floated around, so that's great. There was this other babysitter who babysat a little girl named Sarah. Now, Sarah loved her babysitter so much, but one day she said something a little strange. "When you die, I want to put you in a glass jar so I can keep you and see you forever." I mean, why is that flattering but terrifying at the same time? Another babysitter was babysitting a 5-year-old, and he drew a picture of a woman hanging from the ceiling. He then proceeded to say, "She told me to draw this. She's coming for you. Hide." And then this other girl was babysitting a 3-year-old when he said, "I promise I won't ever chew on your bones. I promise." Here are the most bizarre things that have ever happened at Disney World. There was a time where a couple tried to smuggle a baby onto Space Mountain. A couple was in line to ride Space Mountain when their duffel bag started to make noise, and the couple refused to open it. So the cast member called security, and when they opened the bag, they saw a 6-month baby inside of it. The baby was okay, but my goodness. People try to spread their loved ones' ashes in the Haunted Mansion. This actually happens way too often, and cast members have to try and stop it as much as they can. It causes the ride to shut down temporarily for an emergency ash cleanup. A husband made a very bizarre announcement at Cinderella's castle. The family of 4 came in for dinner, and about halfway through, the husband politely stands up and he announced that his wife of 15 years had been cheating on him. Wow. In 2007, Tigger punched a teenager in the face. Apparently the boy was messing with Tigger's costume and Tigger wanted him to stop and he didn't, and then punched him in the face. Okay, there are so many other bizarre things that happened. I will make a part 2. Here are some more very scary things that happened at Disney World. There was this man who came to the park and he was called the Balloon Cutter. He was a man with a pair of scissors that would go up behind little girls holding Mickey Mouse balloons, and he would cut the string, releasing their balloons into the air. And before he was caught, he ran off into the crowd. How horrible. There was this one time where Dumbo was in a parade. It was a really hot day and he felt extremely sick in his costume. So he threw up in his mask head and it came out all over him. Next, we have an employee that came face to face with a panther. Apparently, this employee was working a shift at 3 a.m. He came face to face with this panther. He backed away and luckily locked himself in a building. And lastly, the saddest one is the death of Pluto. A 38-year-old cast member was killed at Magic Kingdom in 2004 during the Share a Dream Come True parade. The employee who was dressed as Pluto was run over by the Beauty and the Beast parade float. It was extremely tragic, and now Disney is actually more strict about how the parade goes and their staff's safety.